Former President Trump campaigning in South Carolina last night as a myriad of legal cases weigh on his campaign. And that includes the New York civil fraud verdict, which just ballooned to a staggering $454 million with interest. So here to react, former South Carolina Congressman and host of Sunday Night in America, Trey Gowdy. Also former prosecutor and someone who brings unique perspective to this. Trey, it seems like everybody in my hometown of Dallas is in real estate. And because of that, almost everyone has pointed out how odd this is, what is happening in New York. That everybody in real estate does a dance with their banker over how much the different properties are evaluated at. But New York, now, this is something Letitia James is bragging about, $454 million fine.
Yeah, well, I think everybody in life has a tendency to value what they have in a unique way. Here's what concerns me the most. Will, you had an attorney general and a district attorney who both ran for office saying we're going to target a person, not target a series of crimes, which is what prosecutors ought to do. We're going to target a person, and they were rewarded for that. They were both elected promising to target an individual. So if I'm a business in New York, I start thinking, look, the weather's great in Texas. People are nice in South Carolina. Why the heck are we in a state where we could risk this and pay higher taxes and it's more crime-riddled?
That certainly, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, that's what he said. Look, guys are going to leave New York. They're going to leave doing business in New York. All it takes is for you to be on the wrong side of a prosecutor. You said it very well, by the way. They targeted a person, and they made that very clear. I want to ask you also about this, the Fannie, well, it's the Donald Trump trial that's turned into the Fannie Willis special prosecutor, corruption scandal. Nathan Wade, her special prosecutor that she appointed to investigate Trump, said that he made only so many visits to visit Fannie Willis in her neighborhood. We now have cell phone data that suggests he went many more times to visit Fannie Willis. And then now we have this, Trey, as well. Another special prosecutor, part of the team, John Floyd, made something like $4,300 through 2 donations to Fannie Willis's campaign. I mean, that seems like another conflict of interest, Trey.
Yeah, the question is whether or not it's an actual conflict of interest under Georgia law. I think it's going to be tough, Will. I think the best evidence would be if there was coordination between the White House and Fannie Willis's office or Nathan Wade. But here's the other point. I mean, the bold and the beautiful, young and the restless stuff is interesting. But if I'm Donald Trump, what I really want is a delay. I want this after the election. Do you really want to kick Nathan Wade off the case? I mean, do you really want him to go get someone who actually knows how to prosecute a case? No offense to Mr. Wade, but he's not a criminal prosecutor. So if I'm going to be prosecuted, I want it to be by someone like, someone who's a real estate closing attorney, not a former prosecutor.
Yes. Really quickly, Trey, I only have a second or two with you, but I watched that. I'm sure you did as well, and I was appalled by the entire thing. I thought it was an embarrassment obviously for Fannie Willis. The judge had loose control. The cross-examiners weren't that effective. The whole thing was an embarrassment, mostly for Fulton County.
Yeah, I loved being a prosecutor, Will. It's the best job I ever had. I don't like seeing bad lawyering. I also don't like seeing prosecutors act like politicians. It's the one thing where politics is not supposed to be in the middle of it, and we've had a really bad 8 years in terms of politics and the law intersecting, and politics always wins, it always trumps, and it's always bad.
Well, Trey, appreciate you being on the show this morning and talking about these cases with us.
You too,
We'll check you out on Sunday night.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.